seats and that's fine. We'll just do some introductory things. Hello everybody, I appreciate you coming out today. I'm Bob Manner, as most of you know, but and Jennifer Ackery Favors. So we're gonna, you know most of us probably. I am gonna introduce a couple of new team members, so if you guys want to come on up. So this is April May, and that's really her name, April May. Maybe that might be one of the reasons why we gave her an interview, is because her name was April May, and we had to say, okay, well, we got to interview her. So. But fortunately for us, not only does she have a cool name, she has a lot of experience in probate. And you know how much I'm not a big fan of probate. And if we can stay out of court and keep family matters in the family and keep the government and lawyers and judges and everybody out of it, I like to. But guess what? Sometimes we can't, right? And so if we end up in probate, now we have a probate specialist in our office that's going to streamline that and make our lives a lot easier. So that's great. And then Victoria. And Victoria's our brand new person. She's going to be the face of Manner Law Group for a while. She is going to be the front desk person, and so she's great. She's got a lot of customer service experience, and we're really excited. She's only been here, what, a week and a half? Okay. So, and just a quick introduction. So you know Jennifer and I. Amy Purcells is over here. A lot of you have worked with Amy. Amy's a rock star. You know her because she does everything and anything. I mean, she's just multi-talented, but one of the things that she helps people is make sure they get their stuff in the wagon. And if you don't know what I mean by that, you will in a couple minutes. Then we've got, everybody knows Carrie. Carrie's been with me the longest. Carrie's in the back there, if you want to wave. Carrie Jerome, she's the office manager. She's the one that keeps the wheels on the track. She keeps the trains going and on time. Katie Parker is our everybody's favorite girl next door, Katie. She came to us from Whaley Children's Center, and so she had done a lot of work with charities before, and so she's often out in public with us. Rachel Sempler, who was up at the top of the stairs, and she is our elder care coordinator. So if you ever have a situation where you're dealing with a health care issue, you're likely going to be working with Rachel because she just has a vast realm of experience on dealing with the hospital, dealing with the doctors, dealing with rehab, dealing with your insurance companies, making sure that you get good quality care. And she works with Ina Golden, our RN. So we have an RN on staff, most of you know that. And Ina's not here today, she's got some other family commitments, but Ina. And Eric is back answering phones. Eric's our veterans person. He's a veterans accredited agent. He doesn't do the accredited agent through the office, but he is an accredited agent through the Michigan Veterans Advocates. And I'm probably missing some people. Did I miss anybody?
Christina.
Christina is our paralegal. Yeah. So our paralegal, as you may know, she's been with us many years, and her husband, who's in the military, got restationed, and so she works remotely. And so we never get to see Christina except a few times a year, but we see she's working for us every day. That's everybody, right? Okay. So let's get right into it. You know, we have lots of fun. We actually had almost 100% participation in the CRIM this year. Almost everybody at Manner Law Group participated in some CRIM event. We went to a Tigers game, so that was fun. So we're going to start off with just some of the fun stuff here. First of all, you might have noticed everybody's wearing purple shirts. Okay, why are we wearing purple shirts? Well, we got the Alzheimer's Walk this Saturday. We'd love for any of you and all of you to join our team and come and join us at Genesis. Or if you don't want to and you want to contribute $5 or $10 to the cause, we'd love you to do that too. And there's things on their table about that? Okay. So there's some information on your tables about that, but that's why everybody's wearing the purple shirts, because we've got shirts. So the first, how many ever people that come to see us on Saturday, you'll get one of those shirts, but then we'll run out. And so, but if you first come, first serve on the shirts. All right, so more good stuff update. The good stuff update again, and thank you for those who voted or participated in this. The local newspaper does this best of the best, and we've been voted best of the best law firm 4 years in a row. And that's just not just Elder Law Firm, that means all law firms for Grand Blanc are voted the best of the best for the 4th year in a row in the top spot, so that's pretty cool. Thank you for that. Both of us, Jen and I, were both published in a prestigious legal journal, the Michigan Bar Journal, and we had our article published in there, so that was kind of cool. If you want a copy of that, when we wrote it, we tried to write it for lawyers, of course, but we also tried to write it so that it's readable by everybody else. If you're at all interested in getting a copy of that, if you haven't gotten a copy of that yet, let us know, and we'll send you a copy or mail you a copy or whatever. So it's really it's about holistic long-term care planning. In other words, planning for quality of life as opposed to just trying to save money or things like that. Okay, saving money is great, but also making sure you get good quality care is the more important issue. I got to speak at the first annual Elder Law Institute. So all of the Michigan law schools formed this institute called the Institute of Continuing Legal Education. So once a lawyer goes to law school, they don't technically have to learn anything else after that. But that would be a really bad idea if lawyers stopped learning after they finish law school. So in Michigan we have this thing called the Institute for Continuing Legal Education. It was the University of Michigan, Wayne State, Cooley, all the different law schools got together and formed this Institute for Continuing Legal Education. This year they decided to have an Elder Law Institute, and I was able to speak, and that was kind of cool. So these are all the lawyers listening to me, and there I am kind of up in the front talking. That was pretty cool. That was just a week or two ago. Our annual boot camp. So we do an annual boot camp for social workers, doctors, nurses, anybody in the healthcare industry. So this is kind of cool too. First of all, we had over 200 people attend, 200 long-term care professionals. So that's a picture of us, and Jen and I are up front there. And what does that mean to you? Well, a couple things that it might mean to you. If we ever do have to get help there, a lot of times this is the type of thing that the caregivers know us. Sometimes the decision makers know us. So if we ever had to apply for veterans benefits or nursing home benefits or things like that, a lot of times we trained the person who's the investigator who's deciding whether you're going to get benefits or not. So that's kind of helpful if we can say, oh yeah, you were at our boot camp and you got continuing ed credits for attending our boot camp. And so it does give us a little bit of a leg up when we go to apply for benefits or when we're working with the social workers or the nursing homes or things like that. If you need, we can sometimes maneuver through there a little bit better because they say, oh well, if Jennifer says this is true, she was the one that taught me this, so and the same type of thing. So this is helpful for you too. Obviously it's helpful for us because we want those folks to know the law, and that was one of our primary reasons to do this. Know what's possible, know what's, to make sure that they keep the right frame of mind, that the goal that they have is to get the best quality care. I had, at one of the care facilities, I had the lawyer for the care facility say, our goal is just to get everybody out of here. Okay, well, I thought your goal was to make sure you had good quality care and get people better. But no, the lawyer said, no, our goal is to get them out of here. Okay, so, and I did. I actually kind of, teased her a little bit, and this is the lawyer, and said, no, I'm pretty sure the caregivers in your facility wouldn't say it's to kick people out. It's to make sure that they get better, or try to help them get better, to make sure that they get quality care. And so that's the type of thing that we're always working for, just to try to educate these folks as to say, okay, make sure we keep the right frame of mind, and here's some options and sources to make sure that you can make sure your patients, your clients get good quality care. And we help with that too. Here's the big news, Jennifer's partner. So that's pretty cool. A couple of you have been saying, Bob, you're getting a little gray hair, you're getting almost as old as me, so what's going to happen? Well, we got, Jennifer, who's the brains of the operation, and she's now a partner in the firm, and so it provides for the continuity and the longevity of the firm, and so that's good for everybody, right? So officially that's going to be as of January, but for all intents and purposes, she's a partner right now. And then finally, the last kind of fun stuff here is, just figure I'd give you pictures of our kids. So Jennifer is old Landon, he's adorable. And then my 5 children. So we got Miriam, who's my oldest, and Alex, and Sam, they were participating in one of the Crim events too. And even Molly and Charlie participated in the teddy bear trot. So, and I just thought it was a cool picture of Sam jumping on a trampoline. So, so just some fun family pictures. Okay, let's get to the serious stuff. First things first. We sell magic pills, right? Everybody knows that that binder that they got is a magic, magic binder that's going to solve all your problems. I was participating in one of the national conferences, and one of the other attorneys from New Jersey or something was talking about it, and how lots of folks, they get that binder and they just put it on their shelf and never think about it again. Well, first of all, we know you're not like that because you're here today. And that's one of the things that we stress. This is not a magic binder. It doesn't work that way. It's not a magic pill. I like this. It says, act now to solve all your problems. I have another one that says, oh, here it is. Magic pills are easier. They just don't really exist. So if you think this is a magic binder or a magic pill or a magic book, it doesn't work that way, okay? It requires effort on your part. And one of the things of effort is the fact that here. How does this work? So we're going to actually go through that binder in a minute here and kind of go through what you actually have in there. And not everybody has the same thing, obviously, but we're going to go through the options of what you might have. Because I've had some folks come in and they say, oh, well, you did this trust for us, but Dad got sick, so we had to go to this other attorney and get a power of attorney. If you're in this room, you have a power of attorney. You don't leave my office without having a health care document. You don't leave my office without having a financial power of attorney. Okay, it's in there. It's like with the old pasta sauce. It's in there, right? And so the idea is we're going to go through each of those documents, and again, just as a memory refresher, as to what's in there, what's it for, what does it do, and how does it work. But the other thing that you got to remember is it's not magic. And what I mean by that is if you just put this on yourself and never really think about it or never talk to your kids about it or anything like that, it might not work. And there's one way that we're going to talk about and where Amy's involved, and that's what we call the funding process or the asset alignment process, that it won't work if we haven't done that or keep that maintained. Okay? So it doesn't work like a magic pill. It requires maintenance. It requires effort on your part. And so we've got a couple of ways to deal with that. We've got a way for you just to say, well, we just want Bob to take care of that, or we want the office to take care of that, or we leave it up to you to take care of it. And that's why we give you these things like the annual meeting as reminders, as assistance to make sure that you do this maintenance, that you do this annual self-checkup. Okay? People like to think that their legal documents are something that they can put on themselves and not think about them. Maybe think about them every 25 years or so. And that's kind of like going to the doctor 25 years ago and said, I went to the doctor in 1974 and he said I was perfectly healthy, so I must be perfectly healthy. I mean, really, that's the same type of thing as saying that I've got legal documents, they're 25 years old and they were perfect back then. Okay? Well, maybe they were perfect, maybe they weren't perfect, but the idea is it does require some effort. So we can do it for you, we can make sure everything's maintained for you, or you can do it yourself. And we try to give you as many tools and as many things as possible. I don't know very many attorneys that have this annual meeting, that videotape an annual meeting. But this is what you need. This is what it needs to work properly, is to have an annual reminder. An annual time where we spend an hour going through your binder to say, okay, this is how this works, what else do I need? Is there any changes? Okay? And so that's what we do. And we can do it where you do it yourself or we can do it for you. But there is no magic pill. Okay. So we're going to start off with some memory joggers. And you want to go through, you want to just take this? You want to start with the first one?
Everyone should have gotten the memory jogger form, so we are going to have you pull it out and work through it. So this is your form, write your notes on it. When you get home, you want to check the question that you had, take it with you. I really want you to use it as a worksheet to get what you need out of it. So the first thing on there is financial/assets. Did you get a new bank account? Did you change bank accounts? Did your bank change names and and made you change your account? Did you move to a new credit union? Did you change your financial advisor? Did your financial advisor change the firm that they are with? Sometimes you might have the same financial advisor, they're at Merrill Lynch, and then they went to Edward Jones. You're going to want to make sure that your new account at Edward Jones, if you went with them, is updated into your trust. Your CD, did you have a CD that renewed? When it got renewed, did the paperwork get transferred into your trust? Life insurance or other investments? So, did you get a new life insurance policy? Did something happen with your old life insurance policy where you may have rolled it over to a new one? Were there any changes along those lines? Sometimes it may not seem like it would be a big change, but through the paperwork, it didn't get updated. I've had a few cases recently where someone switched financial advisors, and the beneficiary didn't get updated. So you're going to want to make sure all of that happens. So if you did anything along the lines with bank accounts, investments, you're going to want to check yes. And then write yourself a little note to make sure that all of those were in the proper trust, in the wagon. And Amy's going to go into this on how you can check, but the quickest way is to check your statement. They have the name of the trust on it, then most likely it has happened. But those are kind of the big things when it comes to financial assets. Is moving institutions, getting a new bank account. There was about a year ago a big change down the road with a few of the banks. They merged and they made new accounts happen. With that, the new accounts need to be put into the trust. So watch out for that. Just because your old account was in doesn't mean the new one is.
Okay, just to follow up on the financial stuff here, some of you are probably thinking, I don't remember ever doing all of that, going through each life insurance account, making sure that the trust is listed as beneficiary of life insurance, or changing ownership of the life insurance account to the trust, or going to the bank and making sure the bank account is in the trust. Some people say, well, why would I want to put my checking account in the trust? Well, okay, how are we going to access that if you die? How are we going to access that account? Well, my spouse is on there. Okay, well, what happens when you both pass? Well, I put my daughter on there. Okay, well, first of all, was that a good idea? I know everybody does it, but is that a good idea? What if your daughter gets sick? What if your daughter goes to the nursing home? What if your daughter gets divorced? What if your daughter, so if it's just the account that money goes in and out of and you don't have any real money going in, staying in there, that's one thing. But if you have $100,000 in the account, your daughter's name is on that, really dangerous, because bad things, even if she's perfect, I'm sure maybe it's, people say, well, my kids aren't perfect, my grandkids are perfect, but even if she's perfect, bad things happen to good people, right? Good kids get in financial trouble, good kids get sick, good kids die, good kids could get divorced, right? And all of those things could affect your money if their name's on the account. So our better answer is, if you've got a trust, which the vast majority of us, we keep talking about trusts, and we're going to explain what the trust is again in a second, just as a memory refresher. But the reason why we keep talking about trust is because we are of the mind that we don't really want the government and lawyers and judges involved in your stuff. 99% of you are going to have trust. If you're our clients, we push you towards that direction because we don't want the government involved in your life. We don't want you to go through probate, and that's usually the trust is the best option for that. So you most likely have a trust if you're in this room. There's probably 1% that don't, of our clients that don't, maybe 2%. But the idea is, if you haven't done that, we're going to give you an opportunity to make sure that that gets done today. That's one of the things that we can make sure that happens, okay? Traditionally, that is not something that lawyers do. So lawyers prepare all the legal documents, and they give you instructions, and they say, go and, take care of all your life insurance, all your financial accounts, do all this. It's all on you. You have to do that. We don't do that. So, years ago, 10 years ago, that was our perspective. As time has gone by, we've gotten better and better at helping people get their stuff into the account, to the point that now, when new clients come in, we give them 60 days to get everything into the trust, to get everything titled properly into the trust, or we say, okay, you got 60 days to do it yourself. If you haven't done it, you're going to hire us to do it, because it's so important. If you don't have your assets in the trust, and we're going to explain exactly what you do to do that and what that means in just a second here, the trust won't work, okay? Most trusts don't work. And some of you have heard me say that before. Most trusts don't work. Why? Because you don't have your assets titled into the trust. Okay? So if the assets are titled to the trust should work. If they're not in there, the trust isn't going to work. What do I mean by work? Avoid probate, right? If we want things to avoid probate, it doesn't go through the trust unless we retitle the account into the trust. Okay, so we're really focusing on this today, and we're going to talk about what exactly that means and how we can help you with that in just a second. But I really think this is so important because there's folks out there that when Jennifer just went through all of that, they said, yeah, there's a couple of accounts that I got this year that might affect, but I don't think I ever put that life insurance that GM has for me. I don't think I ever changed the beneficiary for that to the trust. I don't think I ever put that life insurance that my parents bought for me when I was a baby into the trust. I don't think I ever put put the beneficiary as the trust for the life insurance I got from the military when I got out for the VA. Or that I never actually did go down to the bank and put my bank accounts into the trust. Okay? One other sort of quick note on that with the bank accounts. There's a few banks that are, any bank employees here? So, okay, Amy worked for a bank, and so we like to work with banks. We've even started doing some training for banks. A lot of the banks and credit unions are now asking us to train their staff with regard to elder abuse, okay? So that's something we've been doing lately and trying to prevent financial elder abuse. So we work well with the banks, but there's some banks, and it's not the branch's fault, it's not the person's fault. Sometimes it's somebody in Texas' fault. It's the administration's fault in New York or wherever they're based. And so one bank in particular, and I'm just going to go ahead and name them, Chase, has now said if you want to put your account in the trust, you have to close your accounts and open new accounts, which is absurd. It's absurd. There's no reason why you should close if you have a trust, in order to put your account into the trust, you should have the same account number, you should have the same checks, you should have the same everything. But they've now decided this. So I finally got to a bank manager and said, why? Give me some rationale as to why you would say this, because this is just absurd. It's causing my clients all kinds of extra hassle. And their answer is, well, that's the way our computer is. It's just easier for us. I said, do you have any legal reason, liability reason? Is there some reason why this is better for your customers? That this is better for, this is a good thing for the bank? It's just convenience. It's convenience on our part. Seriously. And so, you got to make a decision as to, so if you have your accounts there and they're already in the trust, great, you got grandfathered in. But yeah, if you're trying to move new accounts into a Chase account, they're going to close those accounts and open new accounts. At least depending on the branch that you go to. I suspect some of them probably are still letting you do it. But and some of the other banks are actually giving us a hard time about that kind of stuff too. No rationale for it. There should be no reason for that. Okay, so now I'll get to the point that I'm supposed to do, which is dealing with family. Okay, so what is another reason why you might need to update your trust or change your trust? Okay, we've tried to, when we did the trust, contemplate bad things that would happen. We tried to contemplate, well, what happens when your spouse dies? What happens if one of your child dies before you? What happens if your kids have more kids? Those are all sort of pre-contemplated in your planning. We thought about those things. We put those in your planning. But then when it actually happens, sometimes it changes things. Okay? So maybe we said, if my children die, their share is going to go on to their kids. And then our child died. And their spouse, our daughter-in-law or our son-in-law, comes over every day, is the closest thing we have, is like a child, checks on us all the time, and we say, instead of it all going to the grandkids, maybe we want to go to the in-law. Now, I don't recommend that generally as a blanket statement, but once it happened, now we know what happened. Now we know, did they move to Alaska after your son died or your daughter died? Did they, are they not in contact with you anymore? Those types of things. So those are just things to think about. I'm not suggesting that we would do that we need to make a change. Those are just, there's definitely feeling it's worth at least having a conversation about it, right? Because now we know what happened, and we were just trying to look into the future before. Now we actually know what happened, and maybe that's going to change some things. Certainly, a divorce or a death or new children or even new grandchildren. Again, we've tried to contemplate that, but if you have those, that might be something worth a brief conversation with us to say, okay, is this something that we need to make any changes? And a lot of times on those family changes, we had a terrible, terrible situation where a grandchild was very, very ill, and likely as a result of that going to have special challenges for the rest of their life. And so Mom and Dad called me up and they said, well, we need to come and see you because there's something terrible happened. We need to talk to you. So, okay, of course, come on in. So we came in. They said, you know, this is terrible. This happened to our granddaughter, and you know, we know that if we leave money to somebody that has special challenges, special needs, that could interfere with their health benefits and things like that. And so we need to make a change here so that that's protected, so that she still gets the benefit of the inheritance, but that she doesn't lose her other benefits, like her health benefits or disability benefits. So I opened up their binder and I went to the page and I said, oh, we already covered that. That's already in there. I said, well, how could that possibly be? How could you know that that was going to happen to our granddaughter? I said I didn't, but I know that happens sometimes. So we planned for that. We planned for those types of things. But that was a perfect opportunity to review that, to make sure that they knew, number one, that they're covered, and number two, to double check that they're covered. Okay, so those types of things happen. We do want to spend a little time on that.
And on a quick note, because it kind of goes into changes with health, if you have a disabled grandchild or child that has a special needs trust already, you're going to want to make sure that special needs trust is referenced in your documents. So if someone does become disabled, a grandchild, great-grandchild, and there's planning set up for them, you're going to want to just update your planning just to make sure it's referenced in there, similar to what Bob just talked about. But changes in what about your health or the health of your spouse? This is what this point is doing, kind of to bring up. Did someone get sick? Did someone get a diagnosis? Was someone in the hospital? We have a call us policy that we talk about. If someone gets sick and they get in the hospital, we would rather you call our office and say, this is what's going on. And we say, you are perfectly set, or nope, how about you come in, we need to do a change. And this could be something as simple as high blood pressure took you to the hospital, but you just want to make sure your powers of attorney are up to date. Or a diagnosis of dementia, or a serious diagnosis where someone ends up having a stroke and is now needing nursing home level care. We would rather you call us when it happens and we say, you're all set, versus getting a call 5 months down the road, or you come in a year later and say, well, so-and-so was in the hospital and then they went to rehab. The change might be seen kind of strange to say, why would I call my lawyer if I had a health concern? Because sometimes there's things that we can do. I went through and everyone's met Rachel and we've met Ina. There's a lot of advocacy issues, and a lot of times people have benefits that they don't realize are available to them through their Medicare coverage. So if there is a health concern, I'd rather you call and we say, you are perfectly set, or come in, let's talk about it. The other kind of health concern would be health change with a child. Someone becomes disabled. Bob kind of mentioned that with a grandchild. Anything else that you'd like to add?
I just want to mention a couple of things we have up on the sheet. First of all, we've been going through this page that you have. It's called Memory Jogger. Now, this is something that you should do on your own. This is your self-study guide. Okay, you can do it at home. You can wait till you're home, but this is something you should fill out and put in your binder. Now, you don't have to turn this into us. There's going to be a turn-in sheet where we'll show you where you can kind of report the results of this to us if you need a follow-up from us. But this is for you to kind of go through and do a self-study. In a minute, we're going to go through your binder. You don't have to have it with you, but we're going to go through the binder and kind of talk about the things that you should be looking at once a year to make sure that those things haven't changed. And we'll go through the specific sections you need to look at and things like that. So, but a couple of quick things on that. We're going to talk about changes in the law in a few slides in advance here, but I do want to